As night falls over the Chinese capital, cameras capture the closing moments of a high-stakes diplomatic mission. Russian President Vladimir Putin has completed his official visit to China, a journey that blended ceremony, strategy, and symbolism. The motorcade glides toward the waiting aircraft, headlights slicing through the dim light. Seconds later, the Russian leader steps forward, walking toward the plane, surrounded by aides, security, and a silence heavy with meaning. This departure is more than routine. It follows days of carefully choreographed diplomacy, from summit tables in Tianjin to commemorative ceremonies in Beijing. And even in these final images, where Putin exchanges words with China's foreign minister, the message is unmistakable. Moscow and Beijing are synchronizing their steps in defiance of Western critics who say their partnership is a marriage of convenience. A handshake with Russia's ambassador to China, Igor Morgulov, provides one last gesture of continuity. It is a reminder that while Putin departs, Russia's presence in Beijing is permanent, firmly anchored by diplomats and strategists, working every day to advance a shared agenda. At the heart of the visit was the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Tianjin. Once a modest regional grouping, the SCO is now evolving into a platform of global ambition. Putin arrived there determined to show that Russia is not isolated, that despite Western sanctions and ongoing conflict, Moscow still has an audience, allies, and influence. His speeches underscored themes of energy cooperation, regional stability, and what he called a world free from Western domination. To many in attendance, it was a direct challenge to the United States and its allies. For China, hosting the summit reinforced Beijing's image as the architect of a multipolar world order. Here, Xi Jinping's government positioned itself as convener, mediator, and power broker. And for Russia, aligning more tightly with China provides not just symbolic support, but economic and strategic lifelines. Pipelines, trade corridors, and shared security frameworks are the practical threads binding these nations together. But the visit was not only about boardrooms and policy, it also carried deep historical symbolism. In Beijing, commemorations marked the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. Against the backdrop of monuments and memorials, Putin stood shoulder to shoulder with China's leadership, honoring the shared memory of victory against fascism. The sight of Russian and Chinese leaders together at such ceremonies spoke volumes. History is being used to frame the present. Both countries see themselves not only as victors of the past, but as guardians of a world order that challenges Western narratives today. China's message was one of resilience, remembering its struggle against foreign invasion. Russia's was of sacrifice and triumph, insisting that its wartime role remains central to global memory. When placed side by side, these messages create a powerful optic. Moscow and Beijing, once again, presenting themselves as victors in a battle not only of history, but of current geopolitics. Observers noted that the imagery of parades, memorials, and solemn ceremonies was as important as any communiques signed behind closed doors. The presence of Putin at these commemorations was not just a nod to history, it was a reminder to audiences across Asia, Europe, and beyond that Russia and China are forging a narrative together, a narrative that says we have defeated enemies before and we can withstand them again. Before his departure, Putin sat down briefly with Russian journalists. The setting was tightly controlled, but the messages delivered were clear. He spoke of strengthening cooperation with Beijing, resisting Western pressure, and deepening ties across Eurasia. These remarks were amplified by state media, broadcast back home as proof that Russia is not isolated, that its partnerships are intact, and that its leader commands respect abroad. Such press encounters, though brief, are designed for maximum effect. They reassure domestic audiences, demonstrate diplomatic momentum, and send subtle signals to allies and adversaries alike. Putin's words fit neatly into the themes of the visit: unity, resilience, and the promise of a common Eurasian future. As the Russian president finally boarded his aircraft, the significance of the past days lingered. This was not just another diplomatic exchange. From Tianjin's summit halls to Beijing's memorial squares, the visit projected a powerful dual message. Moscow is not retreating and Beijing is not standing alone. The images of motorcades, handshakes, and solemn commemorations will now travel the world. Each frame carefully designed to show defiance against Western isolation, each moment crafted to demonstrate an alternative global vision. The symbolism is unmistakable. Russia and China walking side by side, not just as partners of convenience, but as allies of necessity. And so, as the plane doors closed and the Russian flag lifted into the Beijing night sky, a statement was left behind. That statement echoes not only in diplomatic circles, but across global headlines. Russia and China, bound by history, are signaling their intent to shape the future together. This was Vladimir Putin's China visit, a visit marked by summits, ceremonies and symbolism, a visit reminding the world that in the contest over global order, Moscow and Beijing stand united.